What's up, Reapers? Welcome back to the crypt. Close that for a bit. Yes, I'm wearing the same hoodie and shirt as yesterday because I honestly couldn't find a different shirt for today. Funny because I have a shitload of shirts. Today I'm gonna go through a few of my, I believe to be death metal essentials. There are a few missing, but that's either I'm missing them because I don't own them, or I just, or some people might not, um, or I might not know all the essentials, I guess, because that is a big possibility. Starting off, and this is in no particular order, these are all, fairly old bands. These are all albums, so no EPs, so there is one newer album, but it is an essential band, and I feel like this album is their best. But with that all out of the way, we're starting off with a classic, Scream Bloody Motherfucking Gore by Death. I probably just got demonetized for that, but whatever. Um, I can't say much that hasn't been said about this, and I find that this is absolutely essential if you want just straightforward death metal. I'll say, I do agree that Possessed is essential, but I didn't want to start a whole controversy in the comments. Um, but anyway, next up, Swedish death metal. Entombed, The Left Hand Path. Good God, guys, you can't get better Swedish death metal than this. In my opinion, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of great Swedish death metal bands, but this album had everything that made Swedish death metal what it is. Also, before we continue on, part of the inspiration for this list was my new wallet from Cannibal Corpse. It's fucking stupid, and I'm not gonna show the insides because it's got my ID and stuff, and I don't want people to zoom in or whatever, and yeah. And let me show what my wallet first looked like. This tiny ass thing. Don't get me wrong, this is fine, but every time I went to a show or I just have it in my pocket, I'm constantly trying to feel and make sure I have it. And I'm also worried, and I would also be worried that my cards would fall out. Whereas this is much bulkier, and cards won't fall out. Anyway, next up, this is the newer album I was talking about. This is Dying Fetus, Descend into Depravity. And no, I'm not saying that just because they are my favorite. This is my favorite album from them. This, I think, utilizes what they were doing before and puts it into better musicianship and more technical musicianship, and that's what I like, is a lot of technicality in death metal without it being overly done. Anyway, next up, speaking of Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated. One of my favorite albums from the Barnes era. I think my all-time favorite Barnes era album from Cannibal will always be The Bleeding. But my top two favorites from them of all time will be Wretched Spawn and Evisceration Plague, depending on the day. Torture being a close second to both of those. But Tomb of the Mutilated, I don't think I need to speak much on why this is essential. Next up, we got 2 albums from the same band. Obituary, Slowly We Rot, and Cause of Death. I don't think I need to speak much more on this. Great albums. I kind of wish that they just weren't like overly hyped, or like, you know, people were like, oh yeah, Cause of Death is the greatest Obituary album ever. There's many better albums that they've done, but those are still essential. Next up, I find this album overrated and this band overrated, but I still love the hell out of them. And I feel like a lot of people will understand where I'm coming from. Morbid Angel, Altars of Madness. I find this so fucking overrated. And I didn't even get like a booklet or anything. Like, this is it. And this is the full Dynamic Range reissue version of Altars, and then you also get a live at Nottingham Rock City in 1989. I also just hate the fucking close-up artwork. Like, I hate that. And lastly, this is definitely essential. Fuck. Well, I don't want to say fuck the album before it, but this, I feel, well, Suffocation, Pierce from Within. I find Effigy of the Forgotten is, it's a good album, but I feel like they expanded on what it was really about and made it more slammy in this one, and a lot of people say this one's overrated. I disagree. I think actually FG is overrated rather than Pierced. But that's my essential list of death metal albums. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do these bands have a different album that you think should be in this list? Did I, what albums did I miss? All that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it grim.